Hey, this is Andrea.
And this is Amanda.
And you're listening to
Girls Nerd Out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to anyone new and welcome back to everyone else. It is me, Amanda, and my best friend, Andrea.
Hey.
And we're excited to talk to you about Dune Prophecy. This was the third episode, and it was called Sisterhood Above All. What did you think about that?
Well, they very much focused on the Sisterhood of All sort of situation, but at the same time, I'm like, nobody's really about the sisterhood, though.
You know what I thought? I thought two wolves would have made more sense for this episode.
They're definitely the two wolves.
Yeah. I almost think the title should have been switched. It would have made more sense to me because we'll get into it. But yeah, they're definitely two wolves. Definitely.
Yes, and I didn't realize that till the end of the episode. I kind of sat there and stared at the screen for a bit. I was like, what did I just watch?
Man, a lot happened in this episode. We got a lot of lore and a lot of really big pieces of the story. A lot. It starts off, Valya and Theodosia are leaving the Imperial Palace, and Valya has been banned. So it picks right up where the last episode ended. And they meet the other sisters in the harbor, and Valya can hear them all talking about her. And it's just like sowing seeds of doubt in the sisterhood, big time. And she does not like that at all. And she basically just tells them, you need to go make sure you have control over your houses and I'll take care of this myself. And I was like, how are you going to take care of it, ma'am?
I don't understand how she's going to take care of it, but I think it's crazy how fast this is all moving because, like, she's already barred from going into the Imperium, and then, like, she's like, we got to quickly deal with the other houses. I'm like, is it that fast? Is news travel really that fast? That's crazy.
Honestly, the technology is so interesting in this show that I'm sure they have a way to do that, but I don't know what it is. So we'll just say it's a space raven, Andrea. Actually, that would be outlawed because that would be like AI. It makes sense to have her send the sisters to their houses because she doesn't want to lose another house. But Valya, she's stubborn. She also would never ask for help.
I also think it's interesting how she said that she tells Theodosia that this isn't the first adversary that she's dealt with that has had an issue with her before. And she says, like, this soldier will learn. And I'm like, well, it shows throughout her history that she hasn't been very well liked anywhere. No. So it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. She's used to people not liking her. Actually, I think she finds comfort in that. I mean, I don't think she wants to be liked. I think she wants to be, well, I mean, Desmond said it. It's not that she's afraid she won't be heard. She wants people to actually, like, listen.
But did you hear how she said this soldier will learn? Like, yeah. She's still very confident, even though he bested her, which is weird.
Yeah, and I think that's why she made him sound so small, like this soldier. Like he's nothing. He's a bit more than a soldier, Valya. A little bit more.
He just caused your 30-year planning. He got that done in like a day. I mean, or 2 days, whatever.
Yeah, no more than 2 days. So, she's freaked out, but she's just trying to cover it up. Some of it's ego, some of it's like faux, but yeah, she's definitely fond of her own power. I'll say that.
Yes.
So things are kind of going to hell for the sisterhood because she then finds out that Lila died. And she assumes that she didn't make contact with Raquella, but she actually did. And she finds out about the key to the reckoning is one born twice, once in blood, once in spice. So Valya immediately is like, okay, so it's heart. I'm not sure what makes her immediately think she needs to go home. But that is what, thinking about him, she thinks she needs to go see her family. I don't know what that is. I guess we'll find out later.
Well, I can say this. Whatever her uncle was smoking at the end of the episode, it kind of looked like it might have been spice. So maybe he knows something about the spice, the spice planet. Maybe he knows about Arrakis, or he's been to Arrakis.
There's a tie in there, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, well, her uncle, he's old and decrepit now. He's sitting in a chair, and it's Bobby B. Bobby B from Game of Thrones.
I was trying to get Andrea to say Bobby B because it's funny.
Well, that's all we're going to call him, because I didn't catch his name in the episode. I just said Bobby B. I didn't even catch her mom's name. I'm like, to me, that's going to be Mrs. Featherington. And, there's another character where I'm like, oh, that's this guy from House of the Dragon. So we're Oscar Tully is in this too, guys. So yeah.
We have Bobby B and Oscar Tully. We have Space Ragnar. I mean, like, look, all that means is that actor played a iconic character that the name stuck with us. So, I mean, it's actually a compliment in a lot of ways.
What I liked about that little scene, I guess we're going to see next episode, hopefully, what's going on there. But she has to go see her uncle for some reason and go back to her house. And now we think that she definitely has issues with her house. Yeah. And you can kind of see that throughout this episode. But I don't know why she thinks she needs to go see him. I mean, even her nephew, I guess that's her nephew.
I don't know where he came from. He just sprung up out of the ground, I guess.
So basically, she never visits. This is like the first time probably in forever that she's come to the house. So I wonder how they moved from their planet that they were sent to there.
I wondered that too, because you can tell they're in a nice place. That place looked rich. I mean, that looked like a very, very wealthy family. And I have a feeling as Valya moves up, I guess her family does too.
Which is fascinating to me.
You know how all the great houses want a truthsayer. She's probably done a lot of stuff that made sure that the sisterhood was well taken care of. And apparently she raised up her family. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll be told. I'm sure we will.
So what do you think of Blank Veil?
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. The homeworld of House Harkonnen, it's a shithole. That is a shithole. It makes Winterfell look like the Bahamas. Oh.
I said it looked colder than the north. I said winter is definitely here.
Oh my God, we both thought the same thing. That cracks me up. And Beyond the Wall looks like the Bahamas compared to this planet. This planet is so cold. We're immediately seeing how absolutely fun this planet is. It is snow and ice, and they are currently deconstructing a whale for its meat.
With fur on it.
Yeah. It's a hairy whale, whatever that is, and that's all they have to eat. And
how do you think they catch those whales?
Hell if I know. I wondered if the damn thing just like came to shore or something. I don't know. But
well, it's a very cold planet, and I'm like, well, it's so cold the whales need fur, I guess.
I guess it's a mammoth, a woolly mammoth whale. Woolly mammoth space whale. This is something that kind of struck me. We have young Valya, and she goes to get meat for the family. And for some reason, it really reminded me of when we first meet Rey in Star Wars. And she has to go get food. And it's just a very depressing vibe, except that was sand, and then this is just snow. Like, all you have to eat is furry whale meat. And she looks disgusted, and she just kind of is like, just give me one of those. And it's like, damn.
But you know what's interesting about that? When she brings it back to her house with her family, her mom, Mrs. Featherington, that's not her actual name, but I'm going to call her that. Mm-hmm. She literally said, like, you got I should have just went shopping myself. You got the worst cut of meat. And I'm like, what's the best cut of meat?
I guess space whale is like a cow. And I would say maybe she got a bad space whale cow section that had a lot of fat on it, maybe. So basically, Valia just said, just give me that hunk of meat. And she did not get the filet.
No.
This is not a happy family at all.
Her mom's just like, I should have just done the shopping myself. Yeah, I guess you should have.
Yeah. And everybody just looks irritated from the get.
Except for Bobby B. He was eating it all up.
And I'm sorry, but he was Bobby B. He was Bobby B in this scene. I mean, he just is. And it's just crazy. Andrea made a really good point. We had no idea that Bobby B, which is the actor that played Robert Baratheon, we prefer to call him Bobby B. We had no idea he was going to be in this series, which that is a marketing screw up so bad. Because he is a beloved character to the point where me and Andrea sometimes get irritated. But that was just like a big surprise. And I'm like, man, y'all should have been showing that because there's a lot of Game of Thrones fans that would watch just for Bobby B. Come on.
See, the thing is, I didn't watch I usually watch when a new show comes out, like House of the Dragon. I will be there for their premieres.
Yeah.
I will watch their premieres. But like a new show, I try to make myself, like, especially if I'm really interested in it, I try to make myself watch their premieres, but I didn't for this one. So maybe they were there. I have no idea, but they did not market it. I mean, like I said, we have a big character from Mrs. Featherington is a big character from Bridgerton. And then we have Oscar Tully, which he's not a huge character, but he's still a character. So it's like,
he had a lot of screen time. He did, considering, like the amount of episodes and stuff. He had a good bit of screen time. He was recognizable.
Yeah, well, Oscar Tully is supposed to be, he's supposed to be, that's another rant. We don't have to talk about that. That's something from House of Dragon that I'm upset about, so we don't have to go into that. I'm sorry. I was going to go on a tangent about that.
It's really easy to want to, especially when you see, like, the actors. So, there's one thing we don't fully understand. Bobby B is there, and they start, just having regular conversation or whatever. But so I believe he's the one that mentions that Vorian Atreides is back. I think it's Bobby B that actually says that. I think.
Yes. And then Valia's just like, hey, we need to get him to correct the record. We need to go do something about this because he lied about their grandfather. Their grandfather was not a war criminal. He was somebody that tried to stop a genocide. And I guess Vorian said he was a coward and left.
It bothers Valia so much. And the mother is irritated because she's like, why are you so entitled? Like, where does this come from? And you can tell that is something that has been an issue for a long time. The mom, she doesn't seem to want to have anything to do with that at all.
Or the dad, I don't think.
Yeah, same.
Because she's like, she talks about her dad calling him the mayor of peasants. And I didn't like how she talked about her dad. I was like, look, we don't know much about her dad, but they just seemed really off to me.
Man, the way Valia talks to her parents, there's no way I wouldn't even think to be like that. I don't know if they just don't want to fight or if she's just like such a force to be reckoned with that they just let it go. Because the dad just let that go. I was shocked.
He did. The mom seems to be the one to wear the pants in the family, though.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. And then Valia wears the rest. I mean, come on.
Yes. Also, I was really happy to find out that they had a brother. I was like, oh, they have a brother.
Yeah, they do. They have a brother. And talk about that really cool line that the mom says.
Oh yeah, so Valia leaves because she's upset, and Griffin goes after. That's her brother's name, and she says that don't follow her. She's a wolf. If you're not careful, she will just devour you.
That was a really, really cool line because that tells you so much, and it's true actually. And that is the mom basically saying that Valya's going to do her own thing, but Valya can get people to do what she wants. She's always
Yeah.
been like that. And we know that now because he follows her. He does not listen to his mother. He doesn't. But we get a really, really cool bit of a backstory. So Valya's just like, I mean, she's standing in ice and snow, kind of like on like a cliff. And he comes up to talk to her. And we find out that he had fallen into the water, the freezing water. I would assume like the ice broke. And she jumped in to save him. And then we get this. He said he heard her voice in his head telling him to swim. And that's what saved him because he, started to swim and then she was able to get him out of there. And that was the beginning of the voice.
Which I think is really fascinating.
Oh, it's so fascinating because it was brought out by like an extreme circumstance. And that is a common thing in a lot of the stories we like, where like somebody will be practicing something, and then it will take the actual test for it to like come out. I thought that was really cool. I mean, you could say that about like Jedi. You could say that about anybody with any kind of like, hell, the Matrix. Anytime there's somebody with some kind of power, it usually comes out when it's like the actual event. So I guess that was just something inside of her that when he fell in, it happened. And then she knew she had it. I'm very fascinated. I'd love to know, like, is she the only person that's ever had that?
But she's also seems to be really good at manipulating people,
Oh, yeah.
like not just doing that, but like she convinces him also to go deal with Vorian Atreides.
I was actually surprised by that. Like, she is a master manipulator. Wait a minute. Maybe that's why she has the voice. Because she's already so good at manipulation. Because we're told, like, basically these are humans, but they're evolved way past like where we are so they can do things. And I wonder if she has a part of her brain that's evolved that can do the voice because she is so damn good at manipulating people. I hope we find out more about that. But I was shocked because the next thing we see is her brother's dead.
Yeah,
Damn.
I was shocked. I mean, I should have expected that because I was like, oh, he's going to go deal with, but I didn't expect it to go in bloodshed. How do you go from like, I need to convince him to change history to you're dead? Like, that's crazy to me.
And she didn't go with him.
No.
It's maybe we'll find out more about that, but so we don't know if Vorian just killed him or if they got in a fight. We don't know if Vorian is bad or good because we don't really have enough to figure that out. I mean, we know Valya hates him, but it sounded like she wanted to talk to him. So I would assume she told her brother to go try to reason with him, and then her brother's dead.
Well, and how old is Vorian, though? Because he was around the Machine Wars, and that was a while ago. So it's like he must be over 100.
He's got to be, which the only way that could be is if he's on a bunch of spice, because that could extend his life.
I need more of him, and there's only 6 episodes, so I don't know.
Again, this is another show that could easily have been 8, probably 10. How often do we say that? So, obviously, the parents blame her for the death. Valya vows revenge against the Atreides family. And you wonder about Tula because she is different. She's different from Valya. And apparently there was talk about Valya joining the Sisterhood even before this happened. So I wonder if that's just like, is that where you send like headstrong girls or family you don't want to deal with? I don't know.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah, it really does.
Hey, did you catch that Valia said that Carino, or one of the sisters said that Carino, he could end them all. He could end the whole thing, like not have them work for the houses. Did you catch that?
No.
So I'm like, what? How can he have the authority to do that?
What? No, I want to know
But how can
though. Now I'm fascinated.
I can understand for like the Imperium, but anywhere else, I don't know.
There, we only have 3 episodes left, and there's just so much. Next, we go to the Sisterhood.
Lila's like laying on a slab.
Lila,
She's basically on life support.
she's basically on life support. But to me, when I saw that she was in this episode, I was like, oh yeah, she's not gone. Because I feel like if she was gone, then we wouldn't see her again. But she's in this episode quite a bit. Now, she's not responsive, but she's in this episode quite a bit. She has something in her mouth that I would assume is like respiration. And then she has like 2 neural little things on each side, which I would assume is monitoring her brain function. And you have Tula, who looks completely horribly devastated.
Sister of Avila, I think is her name. She comes in with spice tea.
Yep.
And tells her that Valya drinks a cup a day, and it's supposed to be for clarity of thought. So she thought maybe she would like to drink some, which I thought was really interesting, because I was like, well, of course she'd want to drink it a cup a day.
Oh yeah, I wasn't surprised at that at all, but I found it fascinating because do you know how expensive a cup of spiced tea probably is?
I didn't think they would have that, because I don't know how much the Ben Gesserit even makes. So monetary wise, like, I don't know.
Apparently they do pretty well, because that tea, you could tell there was a bunch of spice in it. I mean, there's no telling how much that would cost. So she drinks a cup every day, which makes so much sense because it expands your mind and you live longer. And I was like, that's straight up Valya's alley right there. Both of those.
Yeah, and so I liked that, and then I liked how she said Mother Akela used to say that we must channel our human energy in service of the future, and she's basically telling her, like, you need to move on from Lila,
yep,
because no one has survived after not beating the agony.
Yep.
Which I'm curious how they know, like, even if they're in a vegetative state, how do you know they can't survive it or get out of it? Like, it doesn't seem like they wait that long normally.
To me, I feel like she was just trying to get Tula to move on, because the Sisterhood, you're not supposed to have those maternal bonds. You know what I mean? I feel like it was her trying to get her to just move on.
But Sisterhood above all, this is your sister here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Some of these sisters are cold.
Oh, especially to Valya, which I understand, because Valya is kind of but...
Well, that other sister, like, she's basically Valya's spy. So, I mean, it's not super shocking. I think some of them, like, I think Valya and the ones that align with her see everyone as disposable.
Well, and that sister, Avila, I think I'm saying her name right, she used to be, like, a part of the cult of Mother Dorothea. Yeah. So it's odd that she switched to Valya after that.
I hope we get that backstory.
We probably will. Because they did have a moment where she looked at her a couple of times in the past. Mm-hmm. So I am curious about that. So now we go to Tula, her past. Oh, by the way, that little tusk thing that she carries around that she gave to Lila, her brother made those, and that just shows how much she really cares about Lila, because she gave Lila that.
Oh, that was heartbreaking. Very much heartbreaking. I will say this. Tula's backstory, that was really well done and completely shocking and visually very enjoyable to watch because the scenery changes completely. We're all of a sudden on this planet that has like forests, which we haven't really seen that.
Yeah, and I thought it was ingenious how they didn't tell us what planet it was until we found out what house we were dealing with.
So we have Tula and
Ori.
yeah, and
I love him.
Yeah, I really liked him. He seemed a tiny bit familiar to me. I don't know if I've seen him in something else, but like you like him just as soon as you meet him.
He kind of felt, I don't know, I really like when people live off the land, and his family lives off the land, it looks like, and it was just really cool like to see that. I don't know if they always live off the land or if that's just when they are hunting, but I still liked it either way.
I have a question. I made a note. Okay, so they are preparing to hunt this bull, which I think is the Salusan bull. I'm just going to call it the bull.
Just call it the bull.
Okay, did that remind you of Rhaenyra, young Rhaenyra, and like the stag?
Yes.
Okay, I wondered if you thought about that because it's like you have to go hunt this thing that's really hard to get, and if you get it, then like it's like this big grand thing. And I was like, this is giving House of the Dragon. I was like, this is familiar.
Yeah, the bull at the very end. It was kind of like a symbolism sort of thing.
Yes, it felt like similar symbolism. That's it. Yes.
I liked how they were gonna lure it with like bait. I mean, that's what Tula was talking about. And we get to meet Oscar Tully. His name is Albert in the show, but I'm just gonna call him Oscar Tully. And it fits that he's in the woods, and I like that. He's very cute boy.
He is, and he looks almost identical to the way he looked in House of the Dragon.
I know.
Apparently he must have filmed those very close together.
What animal was it that they were dissecting to get the poison out?
Know. I don't have a clue.
Well, apparently it's power enough to kill a person.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Tula's very knowledgeable, a lot of stuff. She's dissecting some animal to get what would you even call that? Some paste?
Yeah, she said toxin, so I guess it's a paste. It was in a bubble of guts.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting to watch. Right after that, we have a scene where Ori's horse is injured, and I was like, "Oh, come on, man."
They even showed the injury too. I was like, "Oh."
That made me sad. That made me so sad. I mean, I get it. The point of the scene is, so Ori's just like so upset because his horse has hurt his leg, and Tula's like trying to come up with ways like, can we do a splint? Can we do all this? And it's like, nah, we can't do anything.
No, a horse lives on their feet, which made me sad.
Oh, it made me so sad. And then we see like this horse that just looks miserable, and it's like so sad. And like Andrea said, we see the injury, and I was like, did I cry? Yes. So Tula is just trying so hard to figure out a way, and there's nothing they can do, so they're going to kill the horse. And Tula's like, wait, just wait. And she goes and gets a syringe, which I would assume is like some sort of sedative or something.
She used the toxin, so it's the beginnings of the gom jabber, which I looked up.
Yeah, that's what I want you to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. So she uses that on the horse. So the needle that she's using is the beginning of the gom jabber, which is in the movies. It's the Bene Gesserit assassination weapon. And it's also the gateway to screen the Kwisatz Haderach, which is what Paul Atreides is.
That's what was in the box, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
when she says it will kill you, it will kill you. The other lady.
Okay.
I forget her name. The Ben Gesserit from the movie.
Yeah. I think she's just the Empress.
Was she a Mother Superior too?
Probably, but I think they call her the Empress. I think.
Whatever was in that needle is what we see.
So she injects the horse, and the horse passes a lot easier than, I guess they were probably just going to cut the horse's throat or something. So you could tell that Tula is kind and intelligent, and she cares very much for Ori. Very much.
That didn't fall into her plans, I don't think.
No, not at all. We have a conversation between Tula and Ori, and he's like, how did you know to do that? And she's like, my brother taught me. And he's like, oh, I can't wait to meet him. And she's like, I wish you could, but he died. And she actually says that after that, she had to leave her home planet for her family to realize she existed. And I was like, damn. And I don't think she was lying about that. I think that was actually true.
Yeah.
I think she just got ignored. Yeah. So they're a couple, and he actually proposes to her, and you find out his last name is Atreides.
From the chanting, and then he's like, "Hey, you're welcome to the Atreides family." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. I was like, this is not gonna go great.
I'm just gonna assume that they're from the bloodline of Vorian, but I want just because of what we see with Kieran, like I'm assuming Kieran is from this bloodline too. But what I say by bloodline is like every single house has other bloodlines besides just the one, so like you can be from House Atreides, but that doesn't mean you're directly from that line. That's what I'm assuming here, because I'm like, how do you know he's directly from, or that whole family is directly from Vorian? Like you're getting,
yeah,
you're gonna, I don't know. It's confusing a little bit, but I'm just going to assume for the show's story's sake that they are from Vorian's bloodline.
Yeah, the only thing I can really compare it to would probably be like the Lannisters. Like, because you have the Casterly Rock Lannisters, and not all are from the Rock. I wonder if it's something like that. Because you have Lannisport.
Or like the Blackfires and the Targaryens. Like they are from Targaryens, but they're not the direct line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's something like that.
Maybe
I agree.
Maybe we can find some sort of explanation on that, or some sort of like family tree. That would be really helpful.
I would love a family tree.
Yeah, I would too. Maybe somebody's made one, even if it's not official. Reddit. We need to look on Reddit.
Follow your favorite podcasters on all social media at Southern Mother of Dragons and at the Princess of Dragonstone.
Well, I know Vorian is not just show only, so I could look up Vorian and see what his family line is.
Yeah. So I wonder if are there like great Atreides and then lesser Atreides? Is what I
used to think that, well, when we first get introduced to Kieran, I'm like, okay, he's a sword master, so he must not be from a great part. Right. But then we thought maybe it's like the Targaryens where they rose to power. So maybe he's just not from a bloodline that's super powerful. But then they said the rebels said you are direct descendant of Vorian Atreides. So I don't know if Kieran is from these people, but I bet he is.
We just need to know more about Vorian.
Yes.
Bad. Well, Tula cares for Ori, and they have sex, and I do not think that was Tula manipulating him at all. I think that she loved him. I really do.
Yes.
Well, she feels guilty, so she confesses to him that her last name isn't Vale, but Harkonnen. And he's surprised, but right when I think he's going to act like an asshole, no. He brings up the fact that our families chose to hate each other over something that happened more than a century ago. And we can write a future for ourselves. And I'm like,
And this makes sense why they didn't tell us what planet they were on, because this is Atreides. They're on planet Caladan, so I liked that.
Yeah.
And I liked that he was he's like the best one out of everybody because he just doesn't care. Like, I kind of expected him not to care. He seems really in love with her.
Yep. He was basically just saying, your last name doesn't matter. This changes nothing. And she just looks devastated.
You know what got me though at that scene was when he's like, "Why is it so quiet?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh shit, she killed them all."
Yep.
Because she gave them a vat of stuff, which I still don't know what it is. I mean, I looked it up on Google. They were painting themselves with stuff, and it said that it could be spice balm, but spice balm should be orange, not black. So I don't know what it was mixed with. Probably that toxin.
It had to be that toxin because she was saying that the bull, you have no chance to get to the bull unless the bull can smell something on you. So I guess that's what it was.
That bold and a number on them.
Yeah, I would assume it's something that the bull, I guess it's bait, basically. You put that bait on you so the bull will get close to you. And then she poisoned everybody. But I asked Andrea about this earlier. When you see all the Atreides family dead, it looks like they've been dead for a bit.
Like a couple of days.
Yeah.
So were they like sleeping for a couple of days?
Or is that stuff so bad it like rots you?
Maybe it's that.
They look like they've been dead for 3 days. There were flies everywhere, and it's like, holy shit. It's pretty rough.
And you would think they would have made some kind of noise. I don't know how he didn't hear them.
I don't know either, but I have a question for you. So he realizes it's quiet, everybody's dead. But after that, Tula says, "You didn't see me." What does that mean?
You didn't see me put the toxin in the vat, maybe?
I guess.
Or you didn't see what I was really here to do, kind of thing?
That's what I was wondering. Was that a deep meaning of you didn't see me? Like you didn't see who I really am? I don't know. She says it in a way that it makes it a little bit eerie. So I thought, and then she kills him. So
I mean, she when she says sorry, I think she really means that she was sorry. Like she really, although she did say to him, "Why didn't you go out there and hang out with them before all this mess, and join them?" And he's like, I'd rather this is where I need to be. And so I think she expected him to go out there. And then I thought she expected him to get upset with her about her true identity, and he didn't. So he's doing a lot of things that she didn't expect.
Yeah, and what's interesting is she doesn't let him live, but Oscar lives.
Which I wonder why.
I do too.
Is it because he's a kid?
Yeah. They have like a moment before that where, she's teaching him something. But I was really shocked because, she just killed somebody that she was in love with. And then little Oscar runs up and is like, what the hell? And she's like, go.
Do you, it could be like he's a kid, or it could be, maybe he reminded her of her brother or something.
Ooh, if it's that,
because
that would be cool.
They kind of look similar.
You know what? Yeah. Let's go with that because I like that.
Me too.
It makes sense. And then the bull shows up and looks at Tula.
It was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And obviously that's symbolism, don't you think?
Yes. That bull was cool. They did a good job with that.
Yeah. This is a really interesting space bull. I'm just saying. So then we go back to the family, the family that cares. Sorry, but the House Harkonnen is so miserable. Woo! So Valya was shocked. She didn't think that Tula would actually go through with it and kill everybody. And she says that Griffin would be proud. And I thought the same thing that Tula says. Because she's like, would he?
Well, they killed a whole family line for one person.
One person, and I think Valya said it was for one person, but I think Valya wanted them dead because of the shame put on her family. She's still mad about that.
I mean, I get it, but I don't think this family had anything to do with what happened to her family. This family literally did nothing. It's just like what he said. How can we have issues from something that happened a century ago?
It's actually really sad because if not for Valya, Griffin wouldn't be dead and Tula might be happy.
Yeah.
Valya is very dangerous. She's very manipulative. Hell, I guess she kind of does. I was about to say she's giving like cult leader. And she kind of is. Because she gets people to follow her blindly pretty damn easy. Well, so her family is not happy that she has gotten Tula to massacre an entire family, as you would rightly be. And the mom is like, well, great. So what happens when, they want to get revenge and, there's going to be shame and like what happens with the repercussions?
What Tula did and what Valya did was a red wedding situation. Now I know people were saying that what happened to Pruitt was the red wedding. That's not the red wedding. This is the red wedding. It's a little different. Yes, it's more like in a reverse situation because Robb Stark was the guest and his people were the guest. She was the guest, but she murdered them.
Yep, that was definitely red wedding. Yep.
That's red wedding. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of people, and it was a massacre.
And it was shocking. Totally shocking. Yep. I agree. So Valya's mom is pissed.
Yes.
Dad's pissed. Bobby B is grumbling pissed.
You ungrateful girl.
He's Bobby B, man.
Well, okay, so Valya, her voice is getting better. Like she's getting better at using the voice. And she used the voice on her mom. And I was actually shocked by that. I didn't expect that. And then when I saw her use the voice, I was like, okay, is she going to kill her? Because she tells her to take out the knife but then that's it. So I was shocked. I mean, maybe she realized I shouldn't be doing this.
I think she was close to telling her mom to kill herself.
That's so interesting to me how she won't kill her mom, who she clearly doesn't care about, and her mom clearly doesn't care about her, but she'll kill innocent people that she doesn't even know.
She's something.
Unredeemable at this point.
Oh, yeah. Vastly unredeemable. Vastly. She just sees everybody as a chess piece, and they're disposable. Hell, even Tula. Because she sent her to go massacre an entire family. She could have very well been killed. Like, Valya just cares about Valya.
Yeah, and I really like it, though. I really think she's interesting. Yeah. But there's no hero there.
No, hell no. But she's extreme, and so is Desmond, which is why it's going to be so great seeing them go toe-to-toe.
Mm-hmm.
Because both of them are like 1,000% committed.
Yep. It's kind of why I ship it, even though I shouldn't be shipping anything. I've tried not to. I really tried.
See, that was bait. I did that on purpose to see if Andrea would admit that she's trying not to ship Valya and Desmond. I'm just saying. Well, I was going to try to come up with a name for that ship. It's not really one easily thought of.
I think I'm the only one in this fandom that ships it, though. So I'm here on my own lonely little ship, but it's fine because I know it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to end up one or the other dead. But I'm very curious.
Oh my god, would it be Desmond? Because you could take Harkonnen and Desmond.
Yes, that's perfect.
Look, I can promise you're not the only person that ships it. There's a ship for everything.
So Valya ends up leaving, and she brought the agony with her because she didn't take the agony when she was with Raquella, because she's only thought about her house and she's had unfinished business with her house. Well, I don't even think she fixed her unfinished business, because she did try to kill her mom and didn't actually get to do it. So I don't know exactly what her business with her house was, but she took the agony, and it was very fast. But I don't. Now we think, both me and Amanda think, that it's probably not. That we will probably see what she actually saw.
Yeah. So she takes the agony solo, which, to our knowledge, has never been done. And all we see is the very beginning of it. So it's the faceless figures, her ancestors. And then Tula is there, like trying to like talk to her and get her to come back, and she comes back. I think something substantial happens, and we'll find out about it later, because Valia's agony would be too damn important for us to not see what happens and who she talks to.
Yeah, she's a main character, so
I think she's going to find out the truth of what happened in the war.
And you think, you want to say what you think happened?
I think Valia finds out that her family really is what everyone says. Like, they did leave. They were cowards. And instead of changing, I think Valia just doubles down and tells nobody. I could be wrong, but that's what I think we're going to find out.
It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah, and she's already so committed, nothing would stop her, even finding that out. So,
Nope.
And there's no telling who she talked to.
Because when she was with her friends at the Sisterhood, she was like, "Yeah, I think Raquella is going to name me her successor." And then, like, she was saying all this stuff, like, and I don't even know if Raquella wanted her to. I mean, I know she wanted her, but how do we know for sure that that's what she wanted?
We don't. Valia is just insanely confident, and she's even showing the voice to two of her friends, and Raquella's watching her. And
She
I think
died when she saw it.
yeah, I think Raquella knows how dangerous Valia can be. And I think Raquella was hoping that they would balance each other, Dorothea and Valia. I think that's what she hoped.
I don't think she expected Valia to kill her daughter.
No. No, I don't think so either. Where we go? Oh, so
we want to talk about
next?
Oh, go ahead.
We go back to, this is when so she, I guess, well, do you think she had the spice idea before the tea, or did the tea make her think of the spice idea?
I think the tea made her think of the spice idea.
Okay. All right. So when Tula is offered the spice tea, like, it shows the tea like swirling in the cup, and it looks really cool. And I knew something was going on, because Tula was not as upset as I thought she would be. I was like, she's thinking something. And so Tula summons all the acolytes to say goodbye. And they just kind of eat one by one, say goodbye or whatever. And
well, Jen had an issue with it.
Yeah. What did you think about that?
I get where she's coming from, but at the same time, the whole order is based on that, like, sacrifice. You have to take a sacrifice because, like, if you want to continue, like, I get it. Like, yes, Tula knew that Lila wanted to see her mom. She wanted to know where she came from. But she didn't guarantee her that she would see her mom. But there is a possibility that she could.
Yeah, but Tula made it very clear, like, you may not see her. I cannot tell you, you will. She was honest.
Exactly. Yeah, she was. But Jen, I get where Jen's coming from. She really cared about her. And I mean, I get it. It's sad. And she is young. But the fact that they were like, yeah, younger than her has sacrificed themselves. I'm like, I wonder how much young, because geez.
Yeah, seriously. I get her anger too. Because it's like, okay, was that really worth it? And then it makes you feel uneasy, because then you realize, oh my God, are we all expendable? And I think that's what Jen is feeling.
I have a feeling she's not going to be Sisterhood Above All.
No. No, I don't know what her path is going to be, but having that moment and seeing her anger was for a reason. Something's going to happen. And Valya's probably not going to like it.
No, because you know how Sister Avila was like, you need to respect and be thankful for Valya and Tula, and her look on her face was like, I don't think so.
Yep. She is not going to conform, and there's going to be something probably pretty soon about that.
She's pretty promising as an acolyte too, so it's...
Yeah. And hell, for all I know, Valya might like the fact that she speaks up. I mean, it could surprise me.
Well, because Valya is also somebody that likes to speak up, so yeah.
I mean, watch that happen. Watch that end up being her favorite. Hell, wouldn't shock me now. We have Sister Avila. Is it Avila or Avila? Avila?
I think it's Avila.
All right, so older sister. So she is basically commending Tula for letting Lila go. And Lila is no longer there. So you assume, okay, wherever I guess they take the dead. And as soon as Tula was like, you know what? I need to take these to, what did she say, like the storeroom or something? I was like, something's about to happen. Something's going on.
Did you notice how Avila said Mother Valya would be proud of you?
Yeah.
And Tula's just like, yeah.
Yeah, because she's basically saying she would be really proud of you for not having emotion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or like, I really don't give a crap about what my sister thinks.
Damn. Yeah, Tula's like,
Tula
gives that look like, yeah, thanks.
It was like a fake smile. It was very fake.
It was very fake. So I knew something was about to happen because she gave her that fake smile, and I was like, something's up. Mm-hmm. So she goes into the tunnels, and these chambers start to light up, and then we see like the electronics like that go through the wall, and you realize it's the thinking machine that Raquel showed Valya, and which is just so crazy because like I don't know, that might be the only one that exists. And then we see that Lila's there in like a glass coffin, and I was like, here we go.
I want to say this isn't the only one because they can't be the only ones that are sneaking something like this.
True. Very true.
But I don't know if we'll ever know.
I don't either, but it is AI and it is massive because like it has like control panel looking things going through the tunnels. Like that, it is whatever it is, it's big.
So the building, I want to say the building, unless they just brought the thing, I want to know more about these thinking machines because like they just set it down and then it gets into the building or what? Or has it been there since the building was built?
I don't know. But like the thinking machines we see in the first episode, like, you know, that's like a typical cyborg robot, whatever, android you'd like to call it, you know, like it's, you know, looks mechanical and it's doing stuff. This thing is different. It's in the walls. So
and it talks really well.
It does. It talks like AI, but it doesn't have like a physical form other than whatever it is in the walls. So that's interesting. I guess it's just a different type. But apparently when the thinking machines started the war, that one didn't. And I don't know why that one didn't either. I hope they tell us. I would love to know. Because did it decide not to?
Well, I think this is interesting that they're doing this, but I am like, okay, so this, because when you first get talked about this thinking machine with Raquella, she says it's just got, an index and like a history of all this stuff, and I'm like, you're using a thinking machine just for that? Okay, that's not bad. But then you see this and you're like, okay, it does way more than that.
Way more. Way
And
more. Or
how
wait,
much?
wait a minute. Do you think Raquel was telling the truth and Valia like did something to the thinking machine and made it more than what it was?
Well, because the way that I'm going to say she because it's an AI female.
Yeah, it has a
The
female
AI.
voice.
Yeah, well, the AI tells Tula that she doesn't have the orders to do this, and she's like, "Well, Mother Valia left the planet, so I have the authority, and I order you to do this, keep this child alive." And I'm like, okay, so maybe she did make her to do something more, but only under Valia's authority.
Yep. Oh, see, I hadn't thought about that until you were saying that, and I was like, wait a minute. Maybe it's more than it was. Well, apparently it's a lot because Tula's like, I need you to save this child, and it's like, I'm really not supposed to do that. And she's like, you you could administer the exact amount of spice and save her. And I was like, damn, this spice is like, you can do anything with it. You can snort it. You can put it in tea. You
Can
can
it cure cancer?
apparently it can bring you back to life. It can give you the ability of space travel.
I'm curious, when she gets back to what she is, she will be different, just like Desmond, I feel like. I mean, of course, we don't really know exactly what happened to Desmond yet, but I have a feeling it's something similar. So, he's got powers. Will she have powers too?
That's a good point. Because she was given a lot of spice. A lot.
And I think because a lot of people say that Desmond Hart is the prophecy, I think it's going to be both.
I think so too. Yeah. I think Lila's coming back to somehow combat what Desmond is. Yeah.
Which will be interesting.
Yeah.
And I want to know if I bet she's going to have powers because
I
yes,
think that is really cool. I hadn't even thought of that. I love that, but I think you're right because this show has so much duality. I mean, it's the two sisters, it's the two families. There's just two of everything. And this would be both reborn from spice, but on different sides. And that's going to be interesting as hell. I liked the episode. I think they did a really good job. It was interesting. There's more that I want to know, but that's good because it keeps you engaged. And I'm doing 9.5 out of 10 again.
I gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm always very generous, but I'm serious. I really liked this episode. I thought it was very well done. I really liked the whole shock of it being the Atreides family, and I really want to know more about the Atreides family because they're so different from the movies. And Valia, she's now, I like my evil character. She's definitely evil, and I like that. I'm not rooting for her. Definitely not rooting for her, but I am excited to see what happens.
Well, we do know that it's likely Valia wins because when we get to Dune, the Bene Gesserit are so powerful. It's giving Valia probably wins,
Well, it's going to be a shakeup before that because her and her sister are they're not going to be what they used to be.
No, but maybe whatever happens to Lila, maybe that is Tula's path and she'll have to deal with it. Because like if you say she comes back different, Tula's going to have to deal with the fact that that's what she did.
She's playing God.
Yes. Because she feels like Lila's her daughter.
Yep.
And do I blame her? No.
No, they have a very close relationship. It fits.
Yeah, and if you knew you had the ability to go down there and talk to the thinking machine and get some spice and bring somebody back, come on.
I would.
Yes.
So when
Anybody
they
with empathy and love would.
so when they say Sisterhood Above All, this is what I expect Sisterhood Above All to be.
Well, Valya has taken so much from so many people. She's taken a lot from Tula, and it's almost like Tula doesn't realize it. Valya's been chipping away at Tula's life and happiness for so long, but she took it little piece, little piece, little piece, that it's like Tula doesn't see the big, huge chunk that was taken away. But I think she might. We'll see. I just feel like at some point they're gonna probably not get along. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the next episode because we get Desmond in the next episode. So,
yes. I saw him in the trailer.
Yep. So, I like it. I enjoy seeing Bobby B, and I'm excited for the next episode. I wish we had more than 6. As always, it's Amanda here to say thank you to all of our listeners and to ask that if you like this week's episode, leave us an honest rating. And if you'd like to continue the discussion, please feel free to comment on our post over at our Girls Nerd Out podcast account on Instagram. If you're interested in buying any of our merch to support the podcast and so that we can continue to release weekly episodes, then check it out over at girlsnerdoutpodcast.com. Our podcast logo was designed by Chairman Bilal over on Fiverr. Our podcast merch was put together by me, myself, and I at Southern Mother of Dragons on all social media. If you're interested in my personal merch, check it out at southernmotherofdragons.com. And the designs for that merch were put together by Ryuchi Studios on Etsy after an in-depth back and forth discussion with me to find the perfect merch for me and my loyal supporters. The music played while I tell you about all the ways you can support us and the production of the podcast is Kawaii Girl by Pumpkin Pie. Thanks for listening.
Hey, this is Andrea.
And this is Amanda. And you just listened to
Girls Nerd Out.